Hey there folks, John here with ThruMyLens, and today I'm coming to you with a flashlight review. Today we're going to be comparing this Nitecore MH25GTS to this Olight M2R Pro Warrior. Now that's kind of a mouthful, so from here on out we're just going to be referring to this as the Nitecore and the Olight. Now this won't be your typical flashlight review. I am not an expert in this particular product segment. I used to do a lot of flashlight reviews, but in the last couple of years, my wife and I have been walking our dogs outside more, and this time of the year, it gets dark really early, so we find ourselves walking outside in the darkness a lot. And my EDC-type flashlights really weren't getting the job done outdoors when we were walking our dogs. They have an output of about 200 to 300 lumens. Again, they weren't getting the job done. So I started researching some of the higher output flashlights that have come onto the market in the last few years. Now, I really wasn't looking for a tactical flashlight, though I did hope for one that would have some defensive benefit. I'm really less concerned about somebody coming up to my wife and I when we're walking our Rottweilers, so I'm not overly concerned about being attacked by a person, but I am concerned about a neighbor dog charging us and attacking our dogs. So, again, I wanted a device, a flashlight, that if pressed could be a less lethal deterrent for either a person or an animal. So after doing some research, I really narrowed it down to both the Nitecore and the Olight that you see here. Both have a maximum output of about 1800 lumens. Both can tail stand, which I think is very important, and both are rechargeable, which is really neat. Both are considered to be tactical flashlights, though I only consider one of them to be a truly tactical flashlight, and that is the Olight. And the reason being is because it has an instant on tail switch that does nothing more than when you press it, turns the light on, when you release it, turns the light off. Light on, light off. That's what you want on a truly tactical flashlight that would be designed to be used with a handgun. You will see that I have what I consider to be one of the best tactical flashlights out there. This is my current nightstand tactical flashlight. This is a Surefire. It's a Fury combat light, and again, it has a tail switch that is instant on, instant off. And if you're using this in conjunction with a handgun, if you're using one that either in a half press or a full press will click on and stay on, that could get you killed under the right set of circumstances. You don't want that. So this is a true tactical light, and I consider this Olight here to also be a truly tactical light. The Nitecore isn't, because the tail switch does click and stay on. We'll talk about that more in a bit. So I tested both of these for a few days, and it was a really difficult decision on which one I liked better. I really had to get out a pad of paper and a pencil and go through some pros and cons of each. So let's do that right now, and we'll start with the M2R Pro Warrior from Olight. We'll just get the other one out of the way for a second. Okay. Now, the first thing that I liked about the M2R Pro Warrior is the cool aesthetic. I thought it was a cooler looking flashlight than the Nitecore. It has the nice anodized blue components on it, both on the activation switch and on the crenulated bezel. So I thought it had a very cool aesthetic. And I liked that a lot. Another thing that I really liked about the Olight model is the charging cable. Here it is, and it attaches magnetically to the tail switch of the Olight, and that's all you do. It's very simple. It practically attaches itself. It plugs the other end. It's USB, so you plug it into a powered USB port, and it recharges. Could not be easier to use. Really like that recharging cord. One of the best I've seen. Again, as I talked about before, it does have a truly tactical tail switch for use with a handgun. Again, a tactical flashlight really wasn't what I was looking for, but I thought it was cool that it had that functionality. It's extremely rare to see that in a multi-purpose flashlight. So I was really impressed with that, and it really made me consider if I kept this flashlight, would I really need the Surefire then that I also keep on my nightstand? I could reduce a little clutter on the nightstand. I thought that was a nice advantage. It also has a very versatile pocket clip. You can see it's very deep carry, although I don't consider either one of these an ADC light. But what I liked about this is that in a pinch, if I needed to go hands-free but still have the light illuminating in the general vicinity of my line of sight, this could clip right over the bill of a cap, and I usually wear a hat when we're walking the dogs. So that would work very, very nicely. Yeah, that's a nice capability that the Nitecore did not have, which I thought was pretty neat. Now, in terms of negatives or cons, there were a few. The non-turbo brightness for this particular flashlight only goes up to 750 lumens versus 950 for the Nitecore. And when I compared them, and I can show you some screenshots kind of comparing what that looks like with both flashlights, I thought that the 950 was more useful versus the 750. I also found that the Nitecore had a tighter searchlight kind of a beam pattern that had a really strong hot spot that allowed you, and you would expect this with a tactical light, that it would be what in flashlight nomenclature is called less flood, less spill, and more of a hot spot. The Nitecore, by comparison, partially because that that non-turbo brightness was a little bit better, and also because I think maybe the larger head just gave it more of a cone type pattern that gave you much more illumination to the left and the right of the hotspot. I really liked that a lot on the Nitecore, and less so on the Olight. The Olight also has a very warm yellow beam color versus the cool white daylight temperature of the Nitecore. Very much prefer the daylight cool white on the Nitecore. So that's definitely a negative for the Olight. I also consider it to be a bit harder of a tool to defend myself as compared to the Olight, or excuse me, the Nitecore. It's a little shorter than the Nitecore, and you can see it has a pretty consistent diameter throughout versus the Nitecore that has a larger head on it. So while you can hammer strike with it very easily, and of course I think this crenulated bezel would do quite a bit of damage. I'm not sure how they would take that in airport security though, but it would be very, very hard to kind of use it as a striking tool because of it doesn't have that little extra weight and a little extra length on the end. So a little bit of a disadvantage there in how I might want to use it from a defensive standpoint. I also found that the user interface for me was a lot less preferred on the Olight. When you turn it on, it goes in, it has a memory mode, so it'll come on in the last mode that you had it in. So you can see that, let me see. Okay, yep. Here is the moonlight mode, or actually, that's the turbo mode. That's the moonlight mode. Okay. You can see, just as I've been trying to use it on the for the review, that the user interface is a little bit challenging to use, and it does require to go through some double clicks and what I call the flashlight kabuki dance. Some flashlights you have to do twists with the bezel, or holding something while you're twisting. That's not something that I can remember when, and I'm not going to want to try to refer to the manual when I'm out in the field trying to use the flashlight. I like a very simple user interface. Also, I find in this user interface, you have to hold the button to either go up or down in brightness levels. And for me, it's not too hard to actually blow through the one that I want and have to start over. So if you hold it down, it goes up in brightness all the way to the brightest non-turbo output, which is 750 lumens. And then you can turn it off just by hitting the button again. So not incredibly hard to use, but less preferred as compared to the Nitecore, unfortunately. I will say that I did appreciate that both of these lights have a 1 lumen output. When I have the flashlight on my bedside, if I want to get up in the middle of the night to go get something to drink or something else, I don't want to blind myself and cause myself to not be able to go back to sleep. So grabbing the flashlight and having a nice low output that helps me navigate through the house but doesn't shine too much in my face is really appreciated, and 1 lumen is nice. I actually like flashlights that even have a sub 1 lumen output for a moonlight mode. So let's take a look then at the Nitecore and how it fared in the comparison. Okay, so on the Pro side of things, as we talked about before, the Nitecore has a non-turbo output of 750 lumens, which is really quite nice. Kind of going along with that user interface, it's not difficult to get to the turbo mode. To turn it on, you click on the tail switch. Again, not a tactical tail switch, but it comes on in the lowest mode. And then you simply hit the button 1 time to advance in brightness. And you can go right up to the turbo mode, as you can see. There's the turbo mode. Really couldn't ask for a simpler interface. Just hit the button to go up, and it cycles back around. Super nice user interface. When you're done, click off the light. Easy peasy. Really like the user interface on the Nitecore. I thought from a defensive standpoint it would be a little bit more versatile to use as a defensive tool, because again it does have that larger head that has more weight at the front end, and it is a little longer, giving it a little bit more snap, so you can whack or strike with it if I needed to use it in that capacity. So I thought that was a bonus or a plus on the Nitecore side of things. We talked about the cooler light temperature that the Nitecore has that I really appreciated with, and again it has more and useful brightness levels as compared to the Olight. We talked about the preferred user interface, and I think the interface button or the activation button is a little easier to find in the dark than the Olight, because this is raised. The Olight button is a little bit more recessed, and I just found this to be a little bit easier to find in the dark. In terms of the negatives, there weren't really many, but a big one in my mind was the charging cable. It's got a standard micro USB. You have to try to get this part open in the back, and I kind of keep it open because it's hard to get if you have short nails like I do. But then you have to try to get the micro USB lined up and in there, and it's just so much harder to use than the Olight. So not a deal breaker, but certainly not as nice as the Olight was in my opinion. I don't care for micro USB. And again, we talked about the tail switch not being a truly tactical tail switch. I did put that on the negative side of things, but that's really only relative to the Olight, because my requirements aren't that I have a truly tactical flashlight, although it irritates me when I do see manufacturers advertise lights as being tactical when in fact this one is not. So, again, as I really took a look at both lights and my personal need, the requirements that I was trying to meet in a flashlight, the Nitecore came out on top, and that surprised me, because I thought initially that I would like the Olight more. but I'm really glad that I ordered both. I can't say that I disliked one or the other. I thought they were both great lights, and depending on your requirements, the Olight might fit the bill a little bit better for you. I'm hoping future versions of the M2R may include a cool white light and maybe a little higher output in the non-turbo modes, and I would seriously consider getting one. Well, there you have it. There's my thoughts in this flashlight review. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the ThruMyLens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out ThruMyLens at www.thrumylens.org.